Hey, Brian, that was Velma. She was trying to get the, she didn't have the link to the meeting.
Okay, let me.
I'll send her the thing. I told her it was on the email that went out this morning, the reminder email. So, oh, here's M. Tamishi. Let's see. Hello. Hey, M. Tamishi. Okay. I'm looking right now, I'm looking for the thing for Velma and I'm trying to see. I gotta get out of this. Okay. All right. I'm gonna send did you get the email this morning that had
There it is. Good morning.
Good morning.
good morning.
We are live on YouTube right now. So I emailed you the link, Lisa, if you want to send that out to everyone.
Okay.
In case. Let's see.
You sent it email, Brian?
Yes.
Okay, it hasn't come through yet.
Let me see. Let me make sure I sent it to the right email because I'm just thinking about it and I'm like, I did it, Lisa. I did it to your Gmail one, Lisa G. Stafford.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
I can send it to another one if it's easier.
Well, you can send it to the Noella, but I didn't see it in the Lisa either.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Oh yeah, I did get it at the Lisa G. It just didn't pop up, so I'll send that out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How's your daughter's recovery going, Tamishi?
She's fine. She's back at work. How you doing?
Pretty good. Like the last couple of days have been pretty decent. So I've been back at work since last week, but just kind of taking it easy. But Monday, basically, I'm gonna be back at it. You know, doing well. I'm still just waiting for a little bit more of the stuff to go away, but they said it'll take time.
Okay.
Take it easy, trying to get back into work. Just take it one day at a time.
Yeah, well, the good thing is, I mean, most of my work is from home, you know, so I mean, I do have to go out and show houses, but I'm lucky enough that I've got a bunch of listings, you know, so I've already done that work. All I've got to do is paperwork, you know, with most of that stuff right now. So that's
Oh,
actually
that's good.
that's helping
That's a
me.
good benefit. Yep.
It really is. You know,
Yeah.
some of my clients didn't understand when I was like, hey, I'm gonna be out for a little bit. You know, I literally had people calling me the day of the surgery after, like I'm in a hospital and my phone's blowing up, and I'm like, I told you all that you weren't gonna get me, but
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. And what people don't realize is that recovery is not just physical; it's also mental. So you guys
yeah,
sometimes check out so that you can heal, holistically. But I'm glad you're
yeah,
doing better. I really am.
yeah.
Glad.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And the good news is, it looks like the scar is from it is gonna disappear completely. I thought I was gonna have like a big line on my neck, but they did a pretty clean job. I was actually really impressed with Oshner.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. That I was gonna say also, if not, cocoa butter or shea butter helps, especially with melanated skin.
Yeah, actually, I need to start doing that because yeah, I looked at it this morning because I was like, oh, you know, I've been making sure I wear collar shirts to kind of cover it up, but uh it's almost gone now.
Well, that's
So
good. Okay.
just got another week and a half before I can start doing some regular things again because you know they're 6 weeks before you can uh be covered in water and things like that and lift anything more than 10 pounds and stuff like that. But so we'll let you guys know. NOPD, I was trying to get them to join us. As I told you all in a text message, they are not going to join us. All of the people, they all had scheduling conflicts for today. So I did just want to let you guys know that.
It's no
But
problem.
But they did offer, they asked if we would be willing to do a meeting just for them so that we can, you know, ask some questions to them, find out some things. And I would like to do that because I've got questions for NOPD. I really do, you know,
I do
so
too.
if we can come up with a time, you know, and we would do it on Zoom as well and try to do it with Captain Stamps. Uh, you know, if everybody has got some time, maybe a Saturday, we can just do a quick hour meeting and just have residents kind of figure out what's going on.
Brian, I know how important Saturdays are for you. Why don't we can do it during the week? I'm okay with that too. Like maybe
Okay,
like we did last
let's do it.
time.
We can
Remember we did it
we
with
can propose
the
times
other
to
guy, and it was during the week at like 5-6 o'clock. That'd be good
Mhm.
too.
Okay, we can definitely do that. I mean, my schedule is flexible, so you know I can make time any day. Just want to make sure everybody else can with the you know, with the week. But yeah, whenever we can get it scheduled, I will be more than happy to be there for that.
My only concern is notice to the residents.
Yes, we would
How
have
to
to.
effectively notify the residents.
I think we would have to do another round of postcards.
That's fine. It's worth the cost to get the get
I-
that going out there. And another discussion that's not on the agenda. I see Rosalind has joined us. I saw Rosalind yesterday, and she asked a very, very valid question that we had discussed, and that is Zoom versus live meeting. When's the next live meeting, and the pros and cons of having that in view of the fact of COVID.
Yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up at the end of this meeting to see if we are ready to, you know, kind of get everybody's opinion on if we're ready to go back to live meetings. And then I actually want to ask Velma, is the hospital still an option for us, or are there any protocols or things?
No, the hospital is an option. I can double check. At one point, we were reopening up to the community, but then of course the numbers spiked up again. That was around Essence or right before Essence. So I can definitely bring it up, and I'm pretty sure that we can go back to the hospital, but I don't want to, let me validate that information And
Okay.
I will definitely let everyone know. And if y'all are ready, I can start booking some rooms.
Okay, yeah, we can figure that out. We have one more meeting this year. Well, one more scheduled meeting, but I would still like to do if we do a meeting with NOPD, I would prefer that to be on Zoom, to get as many people, I find we get more participants on Zoom than we do in person. And I want to give a lot of the residents the option to be able to ask questions.
Brian, a question. Good morning. If we go back to live meetings, couldn't we do both to enable those who can't physically attend?
So we can try to do both, but so I'm in a bunch of different groups, and we've been doing a hybrid Zoom and in-person meeting. And the problem is people can't always hear everything. Because everybody's not going to have a camera on them, so they can't hear and they can't see all of the people. And it basically means if you're not in person, usually you end up getting left out. But we can try to see if we can figure out a way to make it work. But I just know that's the issue that we've been having, in some of the other organizations that I'm a part of.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned that, we've been working on that problem too. We had a little more success the last meeting. We had somebody physically walking around with the mic to the speakers. But
yeah, and see, we don't really have speakers when we do the live stuff. The speakers would really help. Everyone will be able to hear, but the hospital doesn't have a setup for that, do they, Velma?
Actually, we did. So during COVID, we took the time to update. So there's speakers all around, and we do have the mics if we need to walk around. So actually, wow. They did update it. Mm-hmm. So it's actually ready.
Then we may be able to do a hybrid. We would have to test it out to see how it works, but that might be an option. But I said, we'll take a poll of all of the residents and board members to kind of see who's comfortable with live. Because when I go out, I still wear a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to do that probably for the considerable future. Just because I've never gotten COVID and I want to keep it that way.
I'm with you on that.
That's right. That's right. But I'm gonna tell you this: if we do have it in the hospital, I do believe that you may have to wear a mask. We would have to ask everyone to wear a mask. I'll validate that information, but that may be a part of the thing because you are walking into the hospital.
Yep, that works for me as well. So,
good morning, everybody.
No.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I think we're only missing one board member. Mr. Thomas is not on yet. And I know Brenda said that she will not be in attendance today. So we'll wait a few more minutes before we go ahead and get started. I forgot my water.
Lisa, do you have or
Do I have what?
do you have that the little memo that I sent the board?
Yes.
Would you be able to post that? So when I give my report, I could just read that. It'll be faster.
Okay. Brian, do you?
I could, I don't even know how to minimize the screen to be able to pull up the.
Are you speaking of the balance sheet that you sent?
I sent the memo explaining the minor changes on the budget.
I have the board resolution. And
yeah, but the email explains the.
Okay, let me pull up the email really quick because I have everything. So.
Oh, that'd be nice. And I'm so sorry I'm not as skilled with the computer as y'all with this software.
Let's see.
And I hope Sean said he was going to be on here so he could, we had any questions about the financials.
All right, so you're talking about just the email that says attached, please find.
Yeah, it gives a quick summary, so I don't have to be as verbose as I usually am. I can just read that.
All right. I've got it. Just get it prepared to be able to. You want to shoot Sean a text to see if he's going to join, because the budget is going to be really the first thing that we end up doing.
I'll do that right now.
Thank you.
Do we have a quorum yet?
Yes.
Good, okay.
Actually, Mr. Thomas has just joined us. I think he's connecting to audio, so we're going to go ahead and get started shortly. Just waiting for Mr. Jordan to connect as well, so nobody misses anything. Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm going to call the meeting to order at 10:08 a.m.
What's that?
We are having the Lake-Bullard board meeting today for the purpose of the annual budget. Can I get a roll call, Lisa?
Okay. Brian Jordan,
Present.
Velma Johnson,
Present.
M. Tumisi St. Julian,
He's muted, but he's here.
okay.
Present.
Okay, Brenda Hogan,
She is absent and she will not be joining us.
Okay, Al Parker,
Present.
Mark Barnes,
Present.
Ira Thomas.
He is here. I don't know if there's a issue with his audio.
Yes, he has to unmute. Ira, you have to
Oh.
unmute.
It's still connecting. I can see a little bit more than you can. It's let's see if that works now.
Ira,
Hello? Hello?
okay. All right, we were just doing roll call. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Awesome. So we are going to go ahead and start with the approval of the minutes from January. Just to let you know that we actually have two sets of minutes. We have the Lake-Bullard Improvement District minutes, as well as the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association minutes. So I will read the Improvement District minutes first, which are on the screen. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. Lake-Bullard Neighborhood Improvement District Board meeting online via Zoom, January 29th. The meeting was called to order by President Brian Jourdain at 10 a.m. Roll call. All board members were present, so a quorum was met. The approval of the meeting minutes from the October 9th, 2021 Homeowner Association and Improvement District minutes were read by President Jourdain. A motion to approve the minutes was made by Vice President Velma Johnson and seconded by Secretary Elton Newton. The motion passed. New business, security update. COVID outbreaks affected SEALs patrols. For the first 2 days there were no patrols, Lake-Bullard was not charged. The schedule is now back to normal. The crime report will be mailed to residents. It reflects a relatively low crime rate compared to areas without security. Residents are asked to report all incidents to Lake-Bullard President Brian Jourdain at 504-339-3136 or Jourdain.Brian, Lisa will correct the spelling, at gmail.com, and send their email addresses to noellaservices@gmail.com to get email updates. Residents can also submit contact information on lakebullard.org. 2021 year-end financial report. Treasurer M. Tamishi St. Julian presented the year-end financial report. The fund balance as of December 31st was $124,249. Total expenditures for 2021 was $91,180. Resolution to amend the 2022 budget. The draft 2022 budget was reviewed. A motion was made by Treasurer M. Tamishi St. Julian to accept the proposed 2022 budget. The motion was seconded by Commissioner Al Parker. The motion passed. A motion was made by Vice President Velma Johnson to suspend the Lake-Bullard Neighborhood Improvement District meeting and open up the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting in order to fill vacant board seats and hold officer elections. Q&A period. Discussion included trailers on Fernley and Stillwaters, signing up for ENONAC updates by emailing enonac2009@gmail.com, security cameras, and property damage due to unsecured watercraft in the lake. Adjournment. Commissioner Ira Thomas made a motion to adjourn. Vice President Velma Johnson seconded. The meeting was adjourned at 11:40 a.m. Do I have any questions or concerns with the Lake-Bullard Improvement District meeting minutes other than the changing of the email address?
So I make a motion that we approve those minutes. I don't have the date in front of me, whatever that date was.
January 29th.
Second.
I second that.
It has been moved by M. Tamishi and seconded by Velma. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The motion carries. So let me put up the new one. So I will now read the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting. Minutes, Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting online via Zoom, January 29th. called to order. The meeting was called to order by President Brian Jordan. Roll call, all commissioners and board members were present, so a quorum was met. New business. Vote to fill expiring board seats. The 2022 expiring seat held by Velma Johnson is to be filled for 3 years. After a vote, the seat was filled by Velma Johnson. The 2022 expiring seat held by Elton Newton is to be filled for 3 years. During the meeting, Elton Newton resigned and left, and the seat was filled by Mark Barnes. The 2023 vacant seat held by Patricia Thomas, sorry, having trouble seeing that, held by Patricia Thomas is to be filled for 1 year. During the meeting, Patricia Mitchell resigned and the seat was filled by Ira Thomas. Vote on new officers. President Brian Jordan, Vice President Velma Johnson, Secretary Brenda Hogan, Treasurer M. Tamishi St. Julian, at large Al Parker, at large Mark Burns, at large Ira Thomas. Adjournment. M. Tamishi St. Julian made a motion to adjourn the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting and return to the Lake-Bullard Neighborhood Improvement District meeting. Mark Barnes seconded. The motion passed and the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting was adjourned. Do I have any questions about the Lake-Bullard Homeowners Association meeting? Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes as read.
It's been
A second.
a motion by Commissioner Parker, seconded by Treasurer M. Tamishi. All those in favor?
Right.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay, the motion carries. We will be moving on to new business. If you guys don't mind, we have security update first, but I would like us to do the annual budget first, if that is okay with everybody. And if it is, then I will go ahead and put up on the screen. Can you see that, M. Tamishi?
Yes, I can, and thank you so much for doing that. This is for everyone who has seen this. This is the memo that I sent with the 2 attachments. I sent the attachment of financials prepared by our CPA Sean Bruno, and the budget resolution and the draft of the 2023 budget to the board. So let me read it so I don't become as verbose as sometimes I can be. Attached, please find the Lake-Bullard financials as of July 31st, 2022, prepared by Sean Bruno, CPA, as well as the draft of the 2023 budget and the board resolution to be considered at the August 13th board meeting. The 2023 budget is substantially the same as the 2022 budget. Nevertheless, please note the budget plans for a reduction in the collections, which has been the trend over the last few years. I budgeted $4,900 decrease for 2023. Changes in annual expenditures include 1, a $50 increase in electricity costs for Lake-Bullard signage. Number 2, a $20 decrease in office supply line items. 3, a $30 decrease in postage line items. 4, a $100 increase in website administrative fees. 5, a $500 decrease in the professional fees line items. While Lake-Bullard maintains reserves at the Board of Liquidation City Debt, it is prudent to create an annual budget within the scope of the annual anticipated collections. You may ask, why does the bylaws provide that we vote on the next budget so early in the year? Well, the City Council must approve our budget each year as part of the city's budget process, which begins in August, September. The Chief Administrative Officer usually requests our approved budget for next year, each August and September. They have not called yet, but probably within the next 2 weeks, they will be calling me for that approved budget, which we're hopefully approved today. So So I've just said, please place that on your calendars today, and today is we will be considering that for approval, and I recommend approval. Is Sean on the
He has not joined us as of yet.
He did text me. He says he's at his office and he's going to be plugging in soon, so he's not in. But the financials, I don't have the financials in front of me, but I can tell you I'm reading from the Board of Liquidation City Debt documents, financials as of July 31st, 2022, and I'm looking at total assets of $152,835. And our liabilities of collections, which again, I mentioned our trend is how we are decreasing each year. Collections as of July 31, 2022 is 89,743. We hope we'll have more collections before the year is out, and usually that happens. But the bulk of the collections has already been made.
So do we need Sean to go over these numbers, or?
No, I think the report it shows that we have a good reserves. And if you look at the budget, it shows that the budget that I've prepared and presented to this board is well within or is consistent with what the usual collections are. So I certainly recommend.
I was looking. You said our expected collections this year are 89,000.
Well, no, the collections that we have as of July is 89,743.
Oh.
Okay, and we expect that to come closer to the 93.
That is correct.
The 93,000. Okay. Which basically would keep us in there, and that means we wouldn't have to go into any of the reserves. We would be able to hold on to that in case we ever need that.
That is correct.
Okay. I know we had a few home sales, but I'm guessing the people who sold must have been current, because sometimes that can give us a little bit more. I've got the budget on there. Does anyone have any questions about any of the items on the budget?
I think that budget, is that the last year's budget?
This is the one that you sent. This is let's see.
That's not the budget. That's the budget to actual.
That's not the budget presented. If you go to the budget resolution, it's an attachment to the budget resolution. So if you pull a budget resolution up that the board is going to consider, the 23, there it is.
Let me see if I can make it can you guys see that well enough on the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So if we were to receive every fee, every collection, that would be the 98,000, correct? But we never get.
We never did. And for next year, I am. You can see the red. I'm projecting a loss of about 98, about 10%, 98 to 100 that we may not collect. That's what I'm projecting.
I wish that there was something we could do to actually enforce the collections, but I know we don't. The only thing that we have is basically when the home sales, if there's a lien or they haven't paid it, we can collect them. But I mean, an extra less $9,800. I mean, our budget is already very thin. You know, I wish there was something that we could do about that. So this is the actual budget. Are there any questions about any of the items? It does look very similar to last year, like you were saying.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to make a motion to approve the budget as presented by the treasurer.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we have a motion to approve the budget resolution. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, it has been moved and, I'm sorry, Lisa, you were muted?
Yeah, was that motion made by Mark Barnes?
Yes,
Okay,
and Al Parker seconded it.
okay.
It has been properly moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? The motion carries. All right, so now we will go to the security update. So I'm sure most of the people in this meeting get the emails from Lisa, basically updating. We have had a few car break-ins in the past month. I think we're at either 3 or 4. It's that time of year where the summer is ending, school is starting again, but you know, where we end up seeing I guess increases in crime everywhere. I would encourage everybody to continue to lock your doors, make sure you don't leave anything on your cars or in your cars that's visible, particularly anything that can look like a firearm, because that's what they are looking for. I recommend leaving your porch lights on to help illuminate things for cameras. I'm actually gonna get some of those little solar lights and put down my walkway. That way at night it can illuminate anybody coming up. But we really need to do whatever we can to keep safe. It is unfortunate that we don't have more support from NOPD. Our security is only 8 hours a day. They cannot cover everything. And the criminals are getting bolder and bolder when it comes to the time of day that they do things and just how open they are with it. I'm sure people have been following what's been going on with NOPD, talking about the lack of officers, how they're resigning very quickly, and leaving us kind of extremely short-staffed. It's becoming, our city is becoming dangerous. So I would encourage everybody, Lisa shared this with me today, the mayor's office is doing budget meetings, but they're doing town home meetings as well. And they're doing our district, District E on Monday, August 15th, which is basically this Monday at the Household of Faith. It is an in-person meeting, but if you have the time, I do encourage anybody to attend, especially the town home portion, where you can ask questions and see what the plan is, what can be done, because crime is getting out of control in the city. And I'm fortunate that we have our private security, but they're not here 24 hours a day. They can't be here 24 hours a day, unfortunately for us. And even if they are, they can't stop all crime. So we need to get the city's input to actually start giving us what's the plan for everything. Did someone have a question? Does anybody have any
Brian.
concerns that were not, I'm sorry?
No, I was gonna say, I'm gonna try to make it to that meeting tomorrow. I mean, on Monday. And I'll
I'm
let you
gonna
know
try
what
to
happens,
as
if anybody else.
well. Yeah, I'm gonna try to make it there as well. I don't know my schedule that far, but even though it's only a few days, but I'm gonna try to see if I can do it, just be at least for the first portion of it. Were there any, we've asked that, you know, anything that happens in the subdivision be reported to the board. Was there anything that anyone is aware of that did not go out via email, you know, kind of alerting residents what's going on? Okay, well, Sean Bruno has just joined. Is there anything, Tamisha, you want him to speak on the budget or? You're muted.
He's muted, yeah. You're muted, Antamichi.
You're still muted, Tamishi. Let me see if I can unmute you. You're
I
muted.
said, I just want to thank him for preparing those financial statements. And certainly for those who are on the air, and it's important. One of the things in terms of our checks and balances is that every year we have Sean who reviews our financials, and we have to present a letter from a CPA to the state legislative auditor, and that's the service that Sean provides for Lake-Bullard. Sean, is there anything you want to say? We passed the issue of the budget and the financials, but is there anything you want to say?
No, look, I just want to, give thanks to UMT for all your hard work. It's a yeoman's job having responsibility to keep up with all our books and records. And, doing this work for the last few years, we've never had any issues. We are good financial stewards of the Lake-Bullard Homeowner Association funds. And, all of the funds are being used for its intended purpose as designated in the legislation that was passed for security, for beautification, and it certainly improves the quality of life of our residents. I've had this same conversation with many other subdivisions in New Orleans East. They're all going in the same direction, but Lake-Bullard is the standard. Lake-Bullard was the standard. After Katrina, we set the tone by coming back early, and as far as beautification and keeping up our community, we do a great job. So just kudos to everybody. Brian, you're doing a great job as well, and let's just keep it up. I did have a conversation with Oliver Thomas on yesterday, and so he's looking on to do some beautification projects on the Bullard corridor. So just kind of stay tuned. Oscar stepping up. I've had conversations with them about doing some projects. So I think, for the main part of this year, hopefully we'll see some more things happen on the Bullard corridor. So I'll keep you guys posted.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all of the work you do for us. I'm sorry, did somebody have a question? No problem. Thought I heard something. But yeah, we appreciate all of the work you do for us, keeping us in compliance with the city and state. Like you said, our budget, everyone can see it. You can see where every single dollar goes, and it all goes to Lake-Bullard.
Right.
So I really do appreciate that. Did we have any other questions or concerns about security?
Just want to make a comment. Last week, I think it was, they had a break-in overnight or early morning, and when I went out to get the paper, I noticed that our neighborhood security was on the scene, apparently writing a report and reporting.
Yeah. SEAL is when something happens and they're actually on patrol. Honestly, they're where they're supposed to be. They're doing what they're supposed to do. I wish we could just get a little bit more support from them, but I understand that NOPD doesn't have the capacity to do it, but we need to find a way to fix that.
It's interesting you say that. It's interesting when you say they don't have the capacity. Something happened. We were driving past the gas station at Bullard and Hain Boulevard maybe a week ago, and something happened. I don't know if somebody got shot, but something happened. There are like 10 police cars there. And then a day after that, something happened in front of the Walmart. There were like 7 or 8 police cars there. And like, they find the resources when there's a crisis. Why can't they find the resources, even if it's just a tad bit more during regular hours or when there's not a crisis? I think that's the question that we have to ask. When something happens, they pop up from somewhere. So,
Yeah.
what are they doing when there's not a crisis?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And that's the type of questions I hope really get asked on Monday at the town hall meeting, because that is important. You're right. Anytime I see something big, I mean, there's no shortage of police cars, but just driving around the east on a regular basis, I don't think the last time I've seen a police car in the east, I can't even remember when it was, and I drive on Reed by the police station and I still don't see them there. So that would be a great question for the town hall meeting. And keep in mind, you don't have to wait for a town hall meeting or a Lake-Bullard meeting. If anybody's got questions, our mayor's office number, NOPD's number, you can email, call, text to start getting them aware that, hey, we're starting to get fed up that we don't have the protection that we need. Things are getting out of hand. And the criminals know. I say, if I haven't seen a cop in New Orleans East in so long, the criminals know that as well. So they're getting bolder. So we need something.
Brian, if I may
Mhm.
amend what you said, it's not that we don't get the type of protection that we need. We also don't get the type of protection that we pay for, because our taxes pay, if I'm not mistaken, for a certain level of protection. And we don't get that. And I understand the crisis that they have. However, the question is that a lot of people have is, what are you doing to mitigate a lot of those problems that they have? So that's something I'm going to be bringing to the meeting on Monday.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that this is a little bit off topic. Something else that I would like brought to that meeting, our trash service, we're still only getting one pickup a week, but we're still paying for two. They either need to give us two or we need to only pay for one. One of those things needs to happen, especially since, I mean, sewage and water board's bills are crazy and outlandish, and with no reason. I mean, I've had my bill double one month and then the next month drop down to below my normal average. And I'm taking the same number of showers and brushing my teeth the same number of times every day. I don't understand how my bill could ever double, so for all of the money that we're paying them, they need to figure that out to make sure we're getting the services that we paid for. So that just goes with the same thing. We paying for things that we're not getting. So that forum can be a place to address any issue that you've got, for the city.
So Brian, I saw one report that said that they were not going to lower the amount that we pay for sewage and water board, and they're not going to increase the number of pickups. But they said what you could do is request another trash can free of charge, and they would bring that out.
So they actually took my second trash can 2 weeks ago. So I'm not able to fill up my trash cans to the top because I'm not allowed to lift heavy things. So I needed two trash cans. I had two trash cans. And 2 weeks ago, they threw my entire trash can in the truck, my second one, and just went away. So I'm definitely gonna have to request a second trash can, but that does
I've requested
not.
one 3 times and I haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, and
And I
even
had the email.
a second trash can does not account for the money that I pay every month to sewage and water board. One trash can is not gonna erase a year's worth of payments, so that's not acceptable to me. Whoever is making that decision needs to explain how we can pay the same amount for less service. Okay, so we will now move on to the question and answer period, or basically our open forum. If any resident has a question about any issue, this is your time to speak, ask questions, and be heard.
I just want to point out, I think we have some of our new residents on the call, Jim and Jarvis Lundy, I'm sorry. Hello.
Hi, good morning. How's everyone doing?
Morning.
Good. Welcome to your first Lake-Bullard meeting.
Thank you.
I hope everything is going so well with you guys in the neighborhood and things so far. We're glad you're here.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Do you guys have any questions about anything or?
No.
No questions. We just agree with everything you all said.
Well, definitely make sure I'm not sure if you're on the list for the emails, because we do send out the updates for crime alerts. We do send out things periodically to kind of let you know what's going on in the city so that you can actually address things to the city council, to NOPD, to the mayor's office. So yeah, make sure you're checking your email for those things. And if you've got any questions, I always post my number. My number is 504-339-3136. It's usually in the emails. My email address is in there, which is just jordan.bryan@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions or anything, I'm always, I try to always be as free as I can, when people call. I do ask that you try to, keep it during the daytime hours, but emergencies, we take calls when we can, if you can wake me up.
Thank you.
No problem. Anybody have any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And I hope this doesn't come off as insensitive, but there's a lady who's been perched at the corner of Bullard and I guess Lake Forest
Yeah.
for a while. And I'm sympathetic to people who, are having issues, challenged, and all those kinds of things. But I think as you enter our subdivision, it does paint a picture of the type of place that you're driving into or walking into. And I'm just wondering if anybody else has any thoughts about, that person being perched there for, as much.
So I've seen her almost every day that I get in my car, and I've been trying to figure out what she's actually doing, because she's covered by all of the umbrellas to protect her from the sun.
She's just sitting there.
If is she selling anything?
No,
She's
Brian,
begging.
she's mentally, she does beg when people pass. She's been perched there, and before then it was Reed and Lake Forest. She's all over the place. She'll be by the interstate. She's actually not homeless. She's mentally ill. And I have personally called the mentally ill crisis unit for her on previous occasions. But unfortunately, the city cannot afford a lot of them anymore. I don't know what happened to the group, but they don't have as many personnel. So they haven't been responsive, in my opinion. She's been all over the place. She actually has an apartment, but because she's mentally ill, when she has these binges, you'll see her out here. She goes from Reed to Bullard, up and down Lake Forest. And sometimes with NOPD says they can't pick her up if she hasn't committed a crime. And it's not a crime for her to sit there. As long as she's not committing a crime, they can't pick her up. However, with the heat index, I have said, I don't think it's safe for her to be out there. And they said that's not, in more than one word, it's not their issue.
Yeah, I knew they couldn't pick her up if she didn't get it. That's why I was if she was selling something, then that would have been a different story. But if she's just there, there's not much we can really do to remove her. And it is very unfortunate that the mental health stuff, because that is dangerous. I mean, some of those really, really hot days, I've seen her out there, and I'm pretty sure those umbrellas, they block the sun, but it also traps in heat. Right. You hope she doesn't end up, overheating, getting dehydrated, and something bad happening. I mean, I wish the city would take a little bit more proactive role than that, because I mean, she always stands in a place that's not protected by any trees or anything. She's always just right out in the open. So
may I also add that I'm glad you brought that up, because even a few weeks ago, I saw 2 homeless people just laid out by the McDonald's. So I'm seeing a lot more homeless in this area on this side of Bullard, on the interstate. The bus stop in front of McDonald's, you can almost count on seeing a homeless person sitting there sleeping. And then the tree across the street on that neutral ground, a couple of weeks ago, I saw 2 young men just laid out, and with their little sign. And I'm noticing, if you go on Crowder Boulevard, it's terrible. They perched at 2 different ends, and they leave their trash everywhere. I'm not in agreement with that. I'm not sure what Enoch is doing about that, because they're making the East look terrible. So the city needs to do something, but I guess if Enoch, they need to do something a little bit more proactive to move these people other places. I know we can't move them if they're not committing a crime, But they actually, if I'm not mistaken, years ago, I
The
thought
one on
it was a
McDonald's, I
crime
thought
to
they were on
ask.
private property.
The curb is not private property.
Okay, they're on, okay. I thought they were on it because we could ask them to move, but okay, yeah, no, if they're on the public right of way. But the trash thing, if they're leaving their trash around, that's something that the city should be able to step in on. That's littering, you know, which we have a very big problem with in New Orleans. These people just throwing stuff. And I've been telling the city for a long time. They keep saying they need money. Enforce the littering fines. You know,
Right.
you would get a ton of money, and you would discourage people from actually littering, which would make New Orleans East look a lot better. And it does not take long to find somebody littering, because every time I drive, I see somebody walking, whatever's in their hand, when they're done with it, it's on the ground. That's just it. So, I mean, if they're leaving their trash and things like that, I will bring that up at the next ENONAC meeting. Maybe they can get NOP to use that as a way to say, okay, well, hey, now you got to move. It's a violation. It's not a crime, but you're not allowed to do that as well. So you're right. That.
And I'd heard years ago that in the French Quarter, there's actually an ordinance to prevent people from panhandling and things like that. So I don't know if that could be extended throughout the city, or, you know, that might be a way.
That was the next statement I was going to say. I thought that was for the whole city. I didn't know if it was just for.
I heard it was just
but I
for
thought
the
it was the
French
whole city.
Quarter. But
I thought it was for everywhere as well. I thought that you're not supposed to do that, and I just thought they kind of just don't enforce it.
See, I think the thing is that they just don't enforce it in the East.
okay.
Well, no, I see the people panhandling everywhere. And the thing about it is, it's supposed to be, as long as they don't physically ask for something, it's not panhandling. If you give them something, it's fine. But they're all asking. They all have a sign or whatever. But we'll get some clarification on that. You know, just to find out, because if there's any way we can, you know, because that, especially with the lady with the mental health issues, if she's soliciting money, maybe that's a way we can get her to stop. But she really needs help, not just being told to move along.
Yeah.
You know,
And one thing,
Right.
years ago, I saw her over on Reed, and I felt really bad for her. So I bought some food and took it to her. She refused to take the food. She says she takes a minimum of $20 donation.
Well, it's up to 20 now. It was 5 at one time. Guess inflation.
Wow. Yeah, inflation is just hitting everybody hard in the pockets, even good-hearted people.
Brian, you have 2 hands up. I don't know if you saw it.
Okay, yeah, I do see Mr. Jordan. Please go ahead. That's the only hand I see.
And Rosalind?
Okay, a couple of things, guys. I don't have my video on right now. But one of the things, since they support all the neighborhoods out here, that is a big issue. It's becoming a big issue with the homeless and stuff like that, and some of the people that are mentally ill, and also probably need to hold a meeting with Oliver Thomas and see if are there any laws to enforce on this. So you know, that Thomas about.
We lost a little bit of what you're saying. You kind of keep going in and out. Could you repeat the last part, please?
Yeah, man, my internet a little unstable, but Oliver Thomas, he's a good person that we should talk to. Okay, you hear that, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, so you know, internet should also get involved in this, as they're supposed to represent all the neighborhoods. So that is a big issue across the East now. So definitely bring Oliver Thomas on board to see what he can do with this as well. And one other thing, guys, I don't know if y'all noticed this, the new check cashing place. I'm gonna call it it's the blood bank.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Yes.
you know, they must seek out Black neighborhoods, you know, because they have another one. If you hear the advertisement they have on Q93, they're advertising on Q93 about the facility in the east, but they also have one in Homer, Louisiana on Martin Luther King Boulevard. So, you know, and they are attracting a lot of people to the community that don't live in the east. I'm gonna tell you that right now. I don't know if you have noticed that, but there's a lot of people that's coming from all over the place to get that $800 a month. So just keep an eye up. Just keep, yeah, you get almost $800 a month if they suck you dry out there, you know. So
That's right.
but that is to me, that's a concern, you know, and it was kept quiet when they was doing this, you know, because they wanted to be in a nice place, you know, and secured. But they, you know, we own a bus line, so they can get people from all over the place. And they got a real facility over there too. They do physicals, they scan you, they pay you on a card. They don't have any cash, so they charge your card whenever you have I guess come there and give your plasma. They give you money on a card, so they try to cut down any robberies because there's no cash there.
Yeah, that's actually smart of them, because yeah, people would stand right outside that if you gave them cash and just rob you as soon as you get out.
Right. So that's just something we need to keep an eye on. But it's a viable business. I mean, it's done, but it seemed like it always, to me, it targets us, you know. Hey, Brian, one last thing I just want to say too. I have to go, but have y'all heard about the NOLA East Fest?
I have not.
Okay. With Oliver Thomas and we trying to do another New Orleans East Festival. And to me, we need all the support from the residents out in New Orleans East. And I know it was brought up at internet meeting, but this is something that we have to say over and over again to make sure we get people to come out. You know, we have to change this branding out here in New Orleans East. We got this bad, I guess, image compared to everywhere else in the city, even though everywhere else in the city have crime, but we look like we always the worst. Yeah. So just try to bring that back, and maybe we can push that out to all the residents. It's going to be in September 17th over at Joe Brown Park. And they got flyers and stuff going to go out. And Lisa, we're going to try to get you some flyers as well. But we want to try to get all the residents behind this. Man, we got to make this thing a success. This is no one person thing. This is
promoting it as well.
Right. This is an East thing. This is not no one person thing. You know, and if we could make this a big success, then the rest of the city say, hey guys, they have one successful festival. So
do you know who's actually planning it? Is it Oliver Thomas?
Well, Oliver Thomas, Tangi Wall with New Orleans East Matters is actually putting it all together, and with support of Oliver Thomas. And you know, we started a new group to New Orleans East Business Alliance that we started to try to bring businesses to the East. So, I mean, I'm behind it 100% as well, man. This is something that we have to change this image out here. You know, I'm just tell you something quick. One thing that we did, and Noah Lewis and I, we went to talk to the Metropolitan Crime Commission. And that's with the guy named Raphael. You probably see him on the TV all the time talking about crime. And when I was looking at the crime stats, you know, from all the different districts, and that's how the police department look at crime. They divide it up into these districts, and we in District 7, we always at the top of the list. But the thing is, we have 3 times the population than the rest of the districts. So that's almost comparing Chicago to New Orleans. They have 30 murders in one weekend, but you can't compare us to them, you know? So that means if you did that, Chicago would be the #1 murder capital in the States, right? But they say we are. you know. So that's what I kind of told him. I mean, they lump it all together, but those stats are a little misleading, you know, because we got more population than a lot of these districts. I mean, just think of it. Our land mass is bigger than anywhere else in the city.
Yeah, we're bigger than the rest of New Orleans. I mean, we've got more
Right.
space.
So that's something they working on. They starting to put out these crime stats every week now to make the public aware of what's going on, and also they are tracking felony arrests to see if any of these and how many is being prosecuted and how many crooks are getting to walk free. So so we have to change this image, man. And one thing that we also trying to do is, you heard of the Love the Boot campaign. And that was supposed to help clean up Louisiana. And that's in the governor's initiative. Well, we did one in April, but everybody supposed to do something every fourth Saturday of the month to do, even if you just clean up in front of your house, you know. So we're trying to get that word out. Every business, if they just clean up in front of their business. And I'm not sure you've been on Lake Forest, man, how the businesses don't cut their grass and stuff like that. So we're trying to go after these guys to cut their grass and stuff. So that's why I say this festival is it could be a big win for the East if we are successful. Everybody have a festival but us. Gentilly got a festival. Chalmette got a festival. Bywater got a festival. Everybody got a festival but New Orleans East. Everybody got stuff but New Orleans East. Even though we have one heck of the assets out here. People don't, I mean, my last thing, I might be on the soapbox, Al, but my last thing. But if you think about it, and you think about the East, we have Fallbird. And I don't know if anybody been there, but it's really a nice facility.
It really is. I've been there a couple of times. It's really nice.
You have Crescent Crown, one of the largest distributors in the country. You got NASA. You can't go to the moon unless you go through NASA. You got one of the largest wildlife refuge in the country. You got Joe Brown Park. You got the Nature Center. You got 2 interstates. You got railroads. You got shipping. You got containers. You got one of the busiest airports in the state, which is at the lakefront. You know, so you have all of these assets, but we are still struggling. So that's what we are trying to do to make a change, man. So I invite everybody to get on board. You know, it's no one person. This is everybody need to jump in and help.
Well, I'm going to reach out to Tangi to see what we can do to help with the festival. And definitely we'll start promoting that as well, because I do agree. Everyone else has a festival. We can definitely have one and start showing New Orleans East in a different light, instead of the one that they keep trying to portray us.
And it's not about no one person, man. I hear so many things out here. It's everybody need to get their butts in gear, man, and get into this. I mean, and try to bring business. We put out a newsletter. All of y'all probably haven't seen our newsletter because it went to pretty much a list, but we reached out to Texas Roadhouse to try to bring them to New Orleans East. And in the newsletter, I pretty much stated, you know, what they told us about bringing a Texas Road out here. You know, so they tried to let us down easy, but they pretty much said that they have already slated and approved Texas Roadhouses for 2023 and say to come back and visit them in 2024. But you know how that goes, right?
Yeah, it'll keep being pushed off, but we're getting a Taco Bell built next to a Taco Bell.
Right. But anyway, but that's it for me, guys. I just had to say that.
How can we get this newsletter? Is there someone to sign up?
I can send it to you, and I can give you a hard copy as well. But it kind of lists the activities that we did over the last 7 months, and we're trying to bring more businesses out here. And there's quite a few businesses open up to restaurants that we need to give them a try, a chance. And we're trying to bring them to the forefront as well. Try to, bring everybody in to kind of talk and collaborate on how we can make this thing change, man. This, we got too many assets out here to say, hey, let it go. And I know a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are nervous about the crime and stuff like that. and just one last thing. I was at a meeting the other day, and this lady came to a meeting, and she came from Gentilly, and she told me she was scared to get out the car. And she was waiting for more people to come. She was scared to get out the car because she thinks somebody was going to attack her. This image is real. This image is real. I'm gonna tell you. So that's it from me, Brian.
Thank you very much, sir. Send me that thing. Actually, I'll be at your shop sometime this week to pick up some prints. So
okay. Yeah, we got some in there. We got some in there too, but I'll get it to you.
Okay. All right. I see we have a hand raised. Bertha?
Yes, Mr. Jordan, the East does have an image problem. I agree with Mr. Jordan just said. Part of the problem, I believe, is when the media just blanketly labels the entire East as being high crime or tying to specific crimes to specific areas. It's a problem. I noticed recently with the shooting of the child at Miracle Plaza, in one of the packages leading up to the actual news story, the preview included a broad pan of the avenue, which had the Lake-Bullard sign in it. And obviously the child did not get shot at Lake-Bullard, but it was in the news. It was in the preview leading up to the news package. That's a problem.
Yeah, and we've been.
And I've also noticed as a result of the negative image of the East, it is so difficult to get vendors to service products that they install. They will not come out and service them. It's difficult to get people to repair things. The problem is the East is having an image problem, but I think we need to stay on top of the media. Maybe that's something Enoch should do. Stay on top of the media and make the media do the right thing by the East and narrow down where crimes are specifically happening.
So
we're not having rampant crime through the entire East.
Yes. So in terms of that, we have been fighting the news media for a very long time. And I'm speaking of Enoch, as me being a member for almost 5 years now. We send letters telling them, pointing out, hey, this wasn't even in. Sometimes they say the East when it's not even the East.
Right.
They'll say things, so we've been doing that and telling them, hey, how you report affects us. How you report, it discourages businesses from wanting to come here. It discourages people from wanting to move here. I'm a real estate agent. When I suggest New Orleans East to people, the reactions I get are terrible. And then I have to tell them, I live in New Orleans East. And they're like, really? And then when they see some of the things we've got out here, they can't believe it. Like, oh, Lake-Bullard is a nice neighborhood. It's not just Eastover that's gated. We've got Lake Forest Estate. We've got nice places. But you're right. The way they portray us in the media, it basically, they're the ones who's keeping this image up when the whole city is basically got the same amount of crime. I mean, the whole city is in a bad neighborhood right now. But they single us out a lot, and they really shouldn't. And we have been telling them that. But for them, in my opinion, that's what keeps their viewers. Them being able to pick a place and say, well, this is it. We can't seem to get them to understand how it affects us and to stop doing it. But we're going to keep trying.
They understand, Brian. They understand.
Yeah.
They don't care.
But it's the message that I think they want to give out, that New Orleans East is just crime ridden. So, but we've been telling them, and we've been telling them how disrespected we feel for years, but it does not seem to change anything.
Well, I think this, if I may add, this may be a good reason why we need to have Oliver Thomas at one of our meetings, because he needs to be our speakerphone to the media and to the board, to city council, that we need to start changing the narrative. Because just like Mr. Jordan announced earlier, and if you don't mind, I'd like to be on that email list as well to know, all the things that you all are doing, because I can advertise at the hospital.
I'll ask him. I think he signed off already.
Oh, he did. Okay. But
I'll ask him to kind of email it to the entire board, if you guys are okay.
A lot of things that they are announcing are not in the East, and it's affecting the economy here. And we could actually boost the economy for the city, because we have a lot of the things in the East. But a lot of companies won't come here, and the companies we have here are not doing well because of people are afraid to come out here. Just like Farber, I mentioned to some friends of mine, let's go out there to have some drinks. And they were like, oh no, I'm not going over there. So you have a lot of people that don't want to come to support the businesses that we have because of the information that they're portraying. Absolutely. Since I have the mic, I just want to go ahead and add that a couple of weeks ago, Together New Orleans had a big meeting at Household of Faith. I'm not sure if you all saw that on the news, but it is a wonderful thing since we are in the midst of hurricane season. Household of Faith will be one of many microgrids. So should, and I pray to God we don't have a storm this year, but should we have a storm or a major power outage, please know that, and I don't know when it will start, but the plan is to make Household of Faith a microgrid so that if you have, or you know someone that will need power in the midst of a storm where there is no power, they can come there to get cooled off, to recharge their phones.
Is there a flyer or something that we can disseminate to everybody?
No, not at this time.
Okay.
Not at this time. As soon as I can get one, that's why I said I'm not sure when it's going to start. I think they're installing the solar panels now. This is all happening now. Household of Faith was the first in the state to get it. And that's again in the East. We're doing so many good things in the East. And so the Household of Faith will be the first of many. But I'm letting you all know. So should something come, and of course, I will keep you all posted on that at the progress of that. But that will be a place, if you have a loved one, we have a lot of elderly in the East, that they need to cool off, if they need oxygen plug in, because that was a problem we had with Hurricane Ida last year. The hospital was inundated with people needing dialysis and needing oxygen, or just needing to cool off from the heat. Household of Faith will be a refuge, not a refuge, but not for them to stay over, but to cool off and then go back home, or recharge and then go back home. So I'm just letting you all know that's something else we can be proud of. And another thing that you all should be proud of is that STEM NOLA is building his campus. If you all see on the interstate, if you look to the right next to Household of Faith, that is going to be a place where your children or your nieces and nephews or grandchildren can go and get a really good education at STEM NOLA. They're building that right here in the East.
Absolutely.
And his brother bought property on the other side of the interstate to put a new film studio.
Yeah.
I really hope that goes through, because that will be wonderful to have here. I hope they don't find a way to stop that from happening. So I see Lisa has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention real quick. I looked up in the city code and it does mention panhandling, but it specifically says the downtown development district. So they have things that
Let's see if we can add that everywhere, because why do they only get it?
Right. Okay.
All right, Bertha, is your hand up again, or did I forget to take it down?
No, I raised my hand. I believe Cornerstone United Methodist Church is also going to be a charging station after the storm. I know the city of New Orleans sent an email out about it, and I know that it's in the city of New Orleans media press release archives. But if I'm not mistaken, I believe Cornerstone is also going to be one.
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. I believe Cornerstone will be. So then that's right in our own neighborhood. Perfect.
Exactly, perfect. Thank you guys for all of that. I do have a couple announcements and questions for you. Velma already touched on it. We are in hurricane season. I do just want to remind everybody to be prepared for it. Have a plan in case we do. I hope we don't have to evacuate, but obviously last year with Ida, just want to remind everybody to have a plan in place to get out if you need to, or to secure your property and your belongings if you need to. We'll make updates about security if something does come up, but I've got my fingers crossed. We don't need another storm this year, but I do want to just remind everybody to be prepared. Block captains, we announced this in January that we wanted to start that up again. I got 1.5 responses from it. Somebody else was trying to volunteer, someone else, but we do need volunteers to be block captains. If you guys know anybody who may be interested, we're not going to try to get too many people to do too much stuff, but we do just need block captains to kind of help us with some things from time to time. So if you or anybody is interested, again, my email address is jordan.brian@gmail.com. It's in all of the emails that Lisa sends out. My phone number is 504-339-3136. That's in everything as well. please sign up because we need the help. The last thing that I wanted to ask everyone, not just board members, but residents, is how do you guys feel about going back to in-person meetings or even some sort of hybrid? Basically, it's up to, in my opinion, it's up to everybody. If the majority of people are comfortable meeting in person and the hospital allows it, which we're going to get verification on, then we can start meeting in person. Believe we would still need to wear masks, but we would at least be able to meet in person. Does anybody have any questions or comments or concerns on that? Or any feelings any one way or the other?
I would like to see us try the hybrid meetings where, those who can attend in person can attend, and those who maybe for whatever reason can't physically attend with it, be able to participate via the Zoom.
I would be in favor of that as well. One difficulty we were talking about before the meeting started was, if some people are on Zoom or some people are in person, it'll be really hard to hear. And I was thinking even further on that for the board members, it would probably be better if we're either all in person or all on Zoom, because there's no way if we've got, and just throwing a name out there, if we've got Mtamishi on Zoom and he's giving a treasurer report, I think it might be a little bit difficult to have everybody hear that or him hear everybody as well. But we'll work it out. Does anybody, I guess the way I should ask it is anybody against us having a hybrid meeting? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to verify that the hospital will still let us meet at our old meeting room. And if they're okay with it, whatever their regulations are, we will have to follow, and we'll pass that out, and we'll try to do the hybrid meeting. We'll try to, I'll go there with some people, and we'll try to test it out to see how best it could work.
Yeah, Brandon, I have to check to see if we'd be able to use the equipment. I think Velma mentioned the mics, and without that it wouldn't work.
Yeah. So, we would need to make sure we could use the equipment, and then also just make sure, go and test it out. So we're not spending 45 minutes of our meeting trying to handle technical difficulties. Like we did the very first time we did a Zoom meeting, we had to cancel it because it didn't work. So definitely we'll try to test it out for the next meeting. That's all I've got. Unless anybody's got any additional questions, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Parker. Can I get a second?
Actually, I think that was Mark that moved, and I'll second.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned. And as usual, I'll stay on for about 10 minutes or so if anybody wants to talk personally. I will stop